Hi. So my first initial reaction after watching was in a way emotional. Of course, I would say that I didn't agree with everything, but Heather was kind of like a big part of the emotional part coming because as a 6 year old little girl, like she kind of knew what she wanted and shared her reasonings behind it, and having like parents that actually went through it, having parents to be there to support her when she was rooting for the implant. And even though they kind of was going like back and forth, like, well, should we do it or should we not? Going around and meeting with others to see like the actual effect that the implant had on their child. It was just very touching that they had to just go through all that. It was just really touching. The overall purpose was about, of course, I had mentioned the implant, which was a new medical procedure then, for all intents and purposes, to not fully like take away the deafness, but kind of help them enhance the quality of their lives and and the effect that it could have on the actual person that would go through with the implant and their loved ones around. While watching, I realized that at some point they did argue that, death is not a disability. It's kind of an alternative way of being. As some seen the implant as a threat to their culture and language, the other side, in a way, seen it as helpful tool for their child to not have to go through what they had to go through growing up. And as I mentioned before, Heather, because Heather was kind of like I'm not saying the main character, but like the main character. As I mentioned about Heather, it touched my heart that as a 6 year old child, Heather wanted to get the implant. She told her parents that, if I was to get the implant, like I'll be able to help you. Like I would help you. Like I would be there for you. And for a 6 year old child to actually have the knowledge to even say that and is willing to go through a medical procedure for not only themselves, just, but to be there for their parents, that was like really sweet. And she mentioned that she wanted the implant so she could talk to, her words, hearing people and to hear animals. She was really, really, really interested in hearing a lion's roar, it was just so sweet. That was so touching. They eventually decided that Heather should not get the implant, reasoning that when Heather gets older, she could decide for herself. But it kind of will defeats the purpose because by the time Heather is older, it really will not benefit her. Like she won't be in a position to receive that type of benefit. But I honestly believe that the mom was more so pushing for Heather not to do the implant. Well, not really pushing her not to get it, but I just feel like once mom was really on board with it, but once she realized that herself was too old to benefit fully from the implant, it kind of like shot like her dreams down a little. That she was like basically feeling, if she wants it, okay, but we're just gonna let her decide when she gets older, knowing that when she get older, she is really no purpose for her to even try to receive it. So I just that right there was just something that got to me. But I do believe that a child could be successful. I wouldn't just deny and say, oh, it will allow a child to be non-successful, because receiving it would just allow them, because regardless of them getting the implant or not, a child will still be successful. Like that's just the way they was born, and they're able to cope with it, and they're able to learn the way to process things. Just receiving the implant would just give them like just a little extra push for themselves. But with or without it, I feel a child would be most definitely successful either way. Um, as a counselor, if I had to meet with Nina and Peter, I would discuss that if they just feel Heather only needs modifications with her learning, then an 504 plan will only be needed. Now, if they feel that Heather needs more instruction on how to handle being deaf or the different strategies that the school could teach her to cope with everything within her academic level, then an IEP would be much needed more. Yeah. Sorry. The IEP team would then be able to consider her language and communication needs, opportunities for the direct communication with her peers, her teachers, and her surroundings, more so on an academic level. So I kind of will push towards an IEP because it would be designed directly for Heather, for her hearing, and everybody would be able to be on the same board when it comes to how they will handle things within her. So yeah, thank you.